TV Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Ziman, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Ziman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. Welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 42. Flying solo today, myself, and of course the Oak Tree of the News Department, Dan Lynch. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Number 42.
Can you believe that? I know. It's almost been a year. It's easy to keep track now with that.
That's a great number in sports. 42. Bruce Sutter.
That was funny because 41 I always avoided because of Ryan Piccolo. I always thought that was bad luck. So I would never anything in 41. Always scared me.
Okay. And then the Kansas Comet was
40.
40? Okay.
Yeah. Now my sister has an autographed Gal Sayers football. She was at some event and Gal was there as a speaker, and she went to ask him for an autographed football for one of my brothers. I have four of them. And he opens up the trunk. He's got a trunk full of football. So my sister wasn't the first one to ask. So, did you ever meet him? He seemed like a great guy. Yeah.
I never did, and I never saw him play, but everybody told me he was really the best.
Well, you must have seen the highlights of that 6 touchdowns in one game where he returned a kickoff return, a punt return, and then four rushing touchdowns. And I guess he was out by the fourth quarter. He did all that in 3 quarters.
Against the Niners.
Yeah, that's right, because Hallis pulled him, and then he put him in for one more kickoff return, and he returned that for a touchdown. That's what it was.
And made the NFL in like 60-some games.
Yeah.
Played in 60-some games and made the Hall
Hall
of
of Fame, yeah. We all saw Brian's song. I always remember what Abe Gibran, of course, playing himself in that movie.
What did it? Was that Pritzker's dad? Abe Gibran?
It could have been. But, that was a made-for-TV movie, That wasn't like a film movie. That was an ABC after-school made-for-TV movie.
Oh.
That's how good that was. With Brian, with the...
And good actors.
Yeah.
Billy
D. Williams and...
James Caan?
James Caan, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I forget who played Papa Bear. It was a great job. So again, look at the news brought to you by our friends at the Junction Eating Place, and you may have heard rumors. Yes, they're open for dinner now. They got a great buffet over there. They got to go over there and check it out in the Junction. Again, they're at 816 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Give them a call at 758-5441 if you're in a hurry, 758-5441. But a lot of people are disappointed that the Junction's been closed for dinner, but now they're open again now with a buffet. So go check that out. Should be a good time there. Taki, just a great guy. Get to know him. And of course, Taki's, that's why they call it Taki's to Go. Taki's to Go DeKalb, Illinois, is a local family-run spot serving fresh, fast, and flavorful meals, including hot dogs, gourmet meals, gourmet burgers, wraps, and Greek cuisine, including the gyros. They offer 24/7 catering. Give them a call at 739-7146 or go to takistogodecalb.com. That's TAKIS, Taki's to Go DeKalb.com. And we thank him for that. And again, going with the buffet route there. Over there at the Junction. I know a lot of people were disappointed that they were closed. And in our future podcast, Dan, we have John Finn from the Pizza Villa and Chris Taki from the Junction. About 130 years worth of restaurant serving between the two places there.
Across the parking lot.
Yeah, right across the parking lot from each other. They said that they used to go, when they closed the pizza joint at 2 or 3 in the morning, they'd go over to the Junction and get breakfast over there.
Oh, okay.
An early breakfast over there. So.
They ever borrow a cup of sugar?
They probably borrowed a cup of sugar. And I was there the other day and almost got the, because you told me your favorite was the corned beef hash, right? The corned beef hash over there?
I did, yeah. I enjoyed that. That was my go-to for that awesome restaurant.
So you'll go to a restaurant and out of all the things that you can order, you'll go with the hash.
I like breakfast food.
Okay.
Even late at night.
Well, that's what they do there at the Junction. Yeah, I had biscuits. I ended up having biscuits and gravy myself, so I know how that goes. Let's take a look at the news. Of course, the first thing is the demonstration. This is from the Northern Star. An estimated 2,000 protesters gathered in Hopkins Park to protest actions made by Trump administration The school with signs like democracy is dying, no kings, a war on ice. The demonstration focused predominantly on the opposition to the U.S. military involvement in Iran, concerns over immigration and custom enforcement agents or ICE agents, and criticism of Trump's administration policies. They were escorted by the DeKalb Police Department. And DeKalb City Manager Bill Nicholas was present at the march and said he believes that everyone has a right to speak freely and safely there. So that was pretty cool. Bill showing up there for that. I started to drive over there, but the traffic was backed up all the way from where people know where the Jewel is there, all the way down that hill. So I took the option on going to check that out. You don't suppose you get by that on Saturday?
I wasn't there, but protests are good.
Yeah, what America's all about, you know. And how about that 2,000 people? I mean, that's not a bad turnout.
For a town this size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
That is a lot.
And very peaceful, like I said, and the police were right there, and Bill Nicholas, the city manager there as well, too. So God bless him with the right to. Again, I don't know how much effect that has or not. Rumor has it upsets Trump when he sees some of these protests or not. But that speech he gave this past, was it 2 nights ago with the just a flat out line. Just I don't understand the line.
I didn't see the
The
speech.
misleading and. He said the Straits of Hormuz will open up naturally, is how he put it. And the best thing was Hegstad, the defense administrator, or secretary of war, saying that the Straits of Hormuz are open, aside from the fact that Iran is lobbing shells as you go through. So he's like, basically it's open, aside from the fact that Iran is lobbing things at you as you go by. It's a matter of semantics, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, if there's one good thing about this war or war in general is I get to brush up on my geography.
No kidding. I didn't realize that Saudi Arabia was right there. I mean, I knew they were all close to each other, but I didn't realize exactly how that's laid out.
Yeah, and by the way, there's nothing good about war.
No.
At all. I love geography. I mean, when I played Trivial Pursuit, geography was a fun.
See, that was my weakest category, that in English. But we used to play Risk, and that was the only way I knew about world geography was the Risk board. You know, taking Australia, I know where Australia, South America, even the little Central American countries. I mean, that's a great game. Did you play Risk? Were you a Risk player?
Yeah.
What did you take? My brothers and I, we always thought Australia was the easiest to defend, although you only got 2 armies when it came around. But the United States was almost impossible to defend. And Europe was great.
Europe was, you had them from all sides.
Yeah.
But you never, what about Mesopotamia, right between the Tigris and the Euphrates River there?
Yes.
World's first society.
Very good. All right, what do you got there, Dad?
A Kirkland woman is facing charges stemming from a check fraud case that began last June. The Ogle County Sheriff's Office says 31-year-old Brianna Pumilia was charged March 30th with theft and forgery after investigators presented evidence to the Ogle County State's Attorney's Office. She's accused of gaining access to a person's financial info and taking just over $11,000. The incident was first reported by a family member back on June 23rd last summer. Pumilia has a court date scheduled for later this month.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Chief Bird here coming up on his 5th anniversary here. And just, the white-collar crimes, the stuff like that always fascinates me, too. I mean, is there a guy assigned to that? Is that what he does, when those cases like that come up? Or?
Well, everything's tracked now. I don't know what they're thinking.
Right.
I mean, I guess embezzlements happen over months and months and months, and then it turns into years, but then they keep doing it.
Yeah. A lot of times they get away with it initially, and then, like you say, they just keep doing it.
Yeah, but everything is tracked and in the system. So sooner or later, you're going to get caught.
Yeah.
People, when they get desperate, they do things like that.
Well, I'm immediately thinking of was it Office Space? Is that the movie with where they designed the computer program to take, I think, like a 1/100th of a cent every time a transition went by, and all of a sudden this money starts building up. Do you ever see that? It's a great movie.
I haven't seen that a
All
long
of a
time.
sudden,
With Jennifer Aniston, I have not
oh
seen
yes, Jennifer Aniston.
It's been a long time.
Wearing her flare, yes. But I always remember they're trying to stick it back to the company. All of a sudden, oh my God, this is working too good. Like they had all this money all of a sudden. So,
Okay, yeah.
All right, I had the big time here. The DeKalb Top Cop host chat with Chief. This was in the Daily Chronicle back on Thursday. But Chief referred us. He was talking about talking to the people getting out amongst the folks, and he said that so much the police chief put them on pause. He said attendance at the coffee with the chief dwindled during COVID-19, so much so that police chief put them on pause and turned to TD Ryan then with WWII Run Morning Show, hoping to reach the community that way. The radio program saw changes in 2025. The station owner cut the news radio program and its staff, but nice we get a mention there from the chief. I'd like to hear that.
Oh, yeah. That was community radio. I mean, it offered a line to local officials.
And he loved it, too. I mean, he was a great interview. And
right.
Really like getting the word out. I mean, if we want to talk about the chief here in a minute, but what do you got for news?
Officials from Squaw Grove Township. This is within DeKalb County. There's like 22 townships, TD.
Speaking of geography, not to interrupt you, but with the Squaw Township, where does that come from?
Squaw Grove Township.
Is that a reference to the female Indian squaw, or is it like weather squaw?
Oh, no, definitely Western Native.
It is, okay.
Indians. I'm sure.
I mean, I've heard of Squaw Valley, okay.
Yep.
I never really thought about that, the name. All right, very good.
Well, I covered a high school, and they were the Montrose Indians, and the girls' basketball team was the Lady Indians, and I thought, why don't they call them the Squaws?
Right.
Apparently, it wasn't a good question to ask. Anyway, in DeKalb County, you have a township, Squaw Grove Township. They're proposing that the village of Hinkley take ownership of the Hinkley Community Building. The township has managed this building for over 100 years.
Oh, wow.
The proposal was introduced during the most recent Hinkley Village Board meeting. It was last week. And township officials suggest a permanent transfer of the property once its main tenant, which is the library, completes its move. They're moving to a new facility downtown. And there's also, and that's on the lower level. On the upper level of this community building is a venue for community events and private rentals. But the Hinkley Village Board will discuss this transition, possible takeover at their next meeting.
Wow, it sounds like a neat building. It really does.
Yep. It's just a lot of character, but pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'm learning about maintenance. I work over there at Hayes Gym there, and between the boiler and then the roof with some leak situations, hard to maintain those old buildings, but they're just so well built back then. It's amazing. Well, we mentioned David Byrd, of course, the chief of DeKalb Chief Police. DeKalb sees 59% reduction in violent crime in the past 5 years. And again, we said Chief has been with us for 5 years. The downward trend over the past 5 years in violent crime, arrest, and gun activity in DeKalb, according to data released by the DeKalb Police Department annual report. 75 officers with the DeKalb Police Department with a $19 million budget. Violent crime trended down. There was 109 violent crimes in 2025, compared with 263 in 2021, making a 59% reduction. Was it that bad here in 2021? Were you here then?
I had just gotten here. However, there was an interim chief, and there was a lot of it was just unstable. A lot of interim stuff going on. So
the department categorizes violent crimes, including homicide, aggravated assault, battery, criminal sexual assault, and robbery. And we said Coach Byrd, Chief Byrd, in his 5th anniversary, started as a cop May 2021. Arrests have fallen over the past 5 calendar years, with 1,718 reported arrests in 2021 to compare to 1,515 in 2025, reduction by 12%. Confirmed gunfire activity also decreased, with 100 reported gunfires in 2021, only 16 in 2025. So now I do recall in 2021, it seems like every other day we had people reporting shots fired, right? Yeah. I had no idea it was that many, 100, and then down to 16 just this last year, an 84% reduction. DeKalb's only reported homicide was in 2025, occurred earlier in the year when 31-year-old Jasmine DeJornet was beaten to death and later found by police on January 7th. So pretty amazing. And then we only had 1 homicide last year as well. They talked about some of the other cases there too, with the June 8th shooting left 1 man suffering multiple gunshot wounds at Eves Circle. August 13th, the shooting after reported that a man was firing a gun at multiple people on North 10th Street. Remember that, because I live on 10th Street. I remember when that one happened.
Yeah.
Well, it's really scary when it hits close to home like that.
But government, most important, police and fire.
Mm-hmm.
Most important.
All right, I have no argument there.
You got libraries and community centers, which are nice. But most important is police and fire.
There you go. No argument there. So kudos to Chief Bird and the whole gang there at the DeKalb Police Department with the 59th reduction in violent crime. And of course, violent crime, that's so important that is reduced. But the, like I said, that white collar crime, because we had a story the other day about the guy ripping off an elderly person, befriending that person, and then getting access to the checkbook, and then.
I mean, theft is.
Is that?
It seems pretty common. I didn't think it was common when I was young, but a lot of people scam from their employer.
Yeah.
In my years of having a job.
Well, I told you my rationalization when I was working. I won't mention the place I worked at in Chicago, where we were doing the buffets, and we were pocketing the money for the buffets, and this particular organization was charging us $1 an hour for all the lettuce and all the bread we could eat, which we thought was definitely not right. So ultimately, there was a class action lawsuit. But I did something wrong. I still feel guilty about it. But if I had to come clean now and again, and it got really scary when we thought about possibly getting caught and doing that. You know, it's like, and the consequences were. I still remember the story when I told stealing the baseball from the Ace Hardware in Skokie, and crying to my mom and dad saying I stole the baseball and I want to bring it back, and I brought it back, and the guy was all cool about it, and never stole anything after that until I did the thing with the buffet. So
in Skokie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever do anything as a kid?
I stole a piece of gum, and it was grape.
Oh,
that's how I justified it. That was the best flavor.
It was.
TD.
We used to do the bubble yum, the grape bubble yum. Boy, my mother would drive her crazy.
And
so you got away with it.
I don't think I ever told a soul. I think I might have confessed that in confession, but
okay.
I don't even think I had told my parents. And then I promptly spat it out, and there was still some flavor in that piece of gum.
Oh, very good. All right, now NIU again. We looking for the Northern Star here. This was on Sunday, last Sunday, about 2:04. A 214 Infinity Q50 flipped over after an accident occurred on Stevenson's Tower. The accident was reported audible from the Jordan Center, where NIU athletes ran to the scene. Attendees also were watching an NIU baseball game. They also gathered at the scene. The car was said to have lost control heading east on Lucinda Avenue, where the car then hit a curb and flipped twice. Now, how fast you got to be going to hit a curb and flip over twice?
Okay, so they were heading towards Annie Glidden.
Right.
Yeah, because
by the roundabout, right?
No, this is between Annie and Stevenson. So I mean, it wasn't too far from Annie. They were in a hurry.
Woodhouse and a civilian who witnessed the accident pulled Smith out of the vehicle. He said, "quote He hit that little curb right there, Lucinda Avenue, where he tried to accelerate, and then the car flipped twice," said Woodhouse, who was also a communications major. How about that? How appropriate to have a communications major at the scene of a crime there.
Yeah,
So,
and an Infinity is a powerful vehicle.
it must be. I mean, to get up that kind of speed there and to flip over twice. But the tow truck arrived on the scene. They carried the damaged vehicle. No injuries were reported. So thank God for that. Boy, that's amazing to get up that kind of speed at such a short distance like that. I guess the Teslas have that kind of pickup, right?
Yes, yeah.
I had a brief ride in the Tesla, and I couldn't believe the pickup in that thing. Because all four tires are getting power, right? They get,
Yeah, and of course you're not wasting gas.
yes, I know. All of a sudden, it sounds looking pretty good now, the electric cars.
Yeah, but instantly they just off the line. They're great.
All right, what do you got?
DeKalb County Sheriff's Office is remembering the life of a deputy killed in a crash 2 years ago. The Sheriff's Office says a squad car that Deputy Christina Mussel was sitting in at the time was struck from behind late at night, March 28th of 2024. She was pronounced dead at KCH just hours later. The mother of three was 35. She previously served in the Army National Guard and was a military police officer in Afghanistan. Christina was a 5-year vet of the Sheriff's Office. The offender in the crash pleaded guilty to driving under the influence of drugs and was sentenced to 14 years in prison.
No. The irony of that, again, being a military policeman in Iraq, and then you end up losing your life back here in DeKalb, just such a sad story, too. Just a wonderful, wonderful lady. And that I think we're all so touched by that just to learn more about her and what she did. God bless those kids. It'd be all right, I hope.
Yeah.
All right, on a lighter note, but staying with the police team, DeKalb Police Department, 2020 annual report. DeKalb Police Chief Jason Leverton announced he plans to retire after 30 years of service with DeKalb County. He says after an encounter with a drunk driver during his teen years, Leverton decided to pursue his career as a police officer. He said that night it struck me that this is something I would like to do to be able to be there when people need the help the most. He also report emphasizes the need to prevent high level of domestic violence. Yeah, Chief Bird was on with us here, and he said that is the biggest problem right now in DeKalb County is domestic violence.
Yeah.
Just it's rampant. The report includes that dedication to recently deceased officer Jim Rhodes as well, who passed away on March 25 after 50 years with the DeKalb Police Department. So God bless them. We're going to get Chief Leverton on with us here with Chief Bird to talk about that. And then the Human Relations Commission. You know what that is, Dan? There's just a little blurb about it here. City Manager Bill Nicholas suggests the council take small revisions in the roles of the Human Relations Commission. The council consider their activities, specifically how many times they're obligated to meet throughout the year. It was like a judge and a jury situation where people were looking for problems, second word Alderwoman Barb Larson said. Although all committees remain active, there are times when urgent issues require their attention, causing them to search for topics to discuss during their meeting. So, what do you know about the Human Relations Commission? I don't even know what that is.
Well, wasn't that the precursor to the Citizens Police
Review Board? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
That
so
was kind of, I mean, Mayor Barnes told you on your podcast, I believe, that with the emergence of that new board, it kind of rendered the
I remember that.
Human Relations Commission kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, kind of overlapping each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. Very
That's
good.
what I took from that conversation.
Right, you were right on that one. Very good. And I want to urge people to check out our latest podcast, Mike Rodriguez. Mike is from the Second Ward Alderman in Sycamore, and he shares a lot about why he's an alderman in Sycamore and what's he doing now. We kind of just scratched the surface of what's going on with the police chief, with the fire chief there. And I have not seen anything new in the Chronicle this week. I was really surprised. Have you seen anything new on that? But
I have not.
no. So again, they're biding their time. We'll wait and see what ultimately they say about that. And of course, we had Mark Sykes here. Mark was talking about the late Tim Holt. Tim Holt passed away on November 29th. He will be having a celebration of life at DeKalb High School at the Chuck Dayton Gymnasium. That's going to be on April 11th at 2 p.m. Please pass this information along to just want people know. That's going to be on April 11th, which is going to be, what day is it, Dan? Today is the 2nd, so the 9th. That'll be a Saturday, huh? That'll be
The 5th is Sunday.
so around the 12th. So that'll be next Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Yeah, so get there and honor Coach Holt there. Again, that's going to be at the Chuck Dayton Gymnasium at 2 p.m. on Saturday. You got one more? What do you got?
Yes, and this involves a police officer. It's a good story.
Kind of a theme here.
And I wanted to mention this last week, but I didn't get an opportunity. But a Cortland police officer was named 2026 Officer of the Year by the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police. This is for his investigation of work in a child exploitation case that led to multiple arrests across several states. His name is Robert Harris. He began the investigation after a citizen complaint in Cortland, and he developed leads and uncovered a broader network involved in the possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material. Authorities say the investigation expanded into several jurisdictions and resulted in multiple arrests. Police say the case required extensive investigative work and cooperation among several law enforcement agencies. So 1 million texts and phone calls.
Yes, this is what we were just talking about there. That side of police work with the technical side.
Yeah. And of course, you got to be diligent.
Right. Sounds like he went above and beyond there.
Cortland Police Chief Lynn Dargis said Harris's work turned a local complaint into a multi-state investigation and credited his persistence and attention to detail for helping protect vulnerable people.
Wow. Well, what's his name again, officer?
That is Robert Harris, Officer Robert
All
Harris.
right, Robert, way to go. Very good. And we were talking off the air about the historic coal tower in DeKalb is set for demolition this week. Very sad. Folks don't know about Rotary Park. It's a very hidden gem over there. There's two little lakes over there. They're stocked always. A lot of people do a lot of fishing over there. But and as you look over to the train tracks, there is the coal chute, the almost 100-year-old coal tower just east of downtown DeKalb, near the end of its life. Located in Rotary Park, been in service out of service since the 1950s. It now belongs to the jurisdiction of the Union Pacific Railroad, and they have decided to demolition of the site starting this week. I haven't been over there, so I don't know what's going on, but just a great photo. If you go, if you could just probably type in coal tower photos in DeKalb, because the sun sets right there, so you get right behind that thing. And we apologize for little technical difficulties there as we're working on our system. We were talking about the historic coal tower in DeKalb getting set for demolition this week. Again, just many photo ops that people have taken there. And as you were saying, Dan, just an era going by, I was thinking about the Kellogg's commercial during Captain Kangaroo, where they would have the train go around, and of course one of the train things had the cereal in there, and then the water tower was milk, and the milk would come down.
Okay.
Remember that? Back in the day.
Well, I'm thinking of Petticoat Junction.
Oh, there you go. And the girls were bathing up in the water tower. I always found that a little disturbing there. Don't drink the water at Petticoat Junction. And that's a look at the news, again, brought to you by our friends at the Junction Eating Place in DeKalb. Now, to a look at the community calendar brought to you by Stagecoach Players Theater. The play that goes wrong. Now, we're going to have 2 more tickets to give away here at the end of this. Oh, no, we're not, because the play starts. What is today? That was second. So, yeah, we will give away 2 more tickets to the play that went wrong, but we thank our folks at the Stagecoach Players. Go to stagecoachplayers.com. Call over 758-1940. He describes this as Scott Montavon. We have the director here describing it as a mix of Monty Python and Sherlock Holmes. So, sounds like a winning combination to me. And also want to let people know the thespians out there, upcoming dates, May 1st and May 2nd and May 3rd. That's Friday, 6 to 9, Saturday, 1 to 5, and Sunday, 1 to 5. A location, First Lutheran Church. You can apply for The Man Who Came to Dinner, audition for Bonnie and Clyde the Musical, and Dracula auditions as well, too. So if you're a promising thespian, there's an opportunity for you to do that. And we've been talking about what the library's been doing here, Dan, in honor of our 250th year in America. Boy, we're really getting tested, aren't we, in our 250th year. But the Battle of World War II is going to be on April 16th at 6 o'clock here at the DeKalb Library. Again, I'm sure you watched the History Channel, just watching just individual battles that happened during World War II, just some amazing stories. And how, because around 42, early 43, we weren't sure we were going to win this, right? I mean, there was no guarantee that we're going to do this.
True. Yeah, the Blitzkrieg was raging across Europe.
Yeah.
It's still weird for me to think about France under being occupied by the Nazis.
Yeah. When you talk about geography, I saw the movie Dunkirk not too long ago, and I always heard about kind of what happened there, but I didn't realize the proximity to the English Channel, how short that is, and yet how long in that particular case. But all the people with their fishing boats and stuff going to save the soldiers. I mean, what a story.
Yeah. Well, you've been to Europe many times.
No, just once.
Really?
I'm not a.
I mean, did you bounce around to other European?
No, we did. We went to Amsterdam. I wanted to go to Amsterdam. I wanted to see the red light district, which was gravely disappointing. And of course, they had the legal marijuana there. So we were at a coffee house, and people smoking weed. And I remember a police boat pulled up, and I remember looking around when they're like, "Wait, no, this is Amsterdam. Weed's legal here." Well, we took a bullet train, and man, you go anywhere in Europe. Just hop on a train, a couple hours. Where you go? Some people went to Bruges from there. But
okay,
have you been? Where have you been?
No, I've only been to Ireland.
Okay,
but
I would like to do that. And then American Video Games and Technology Petting Zoo. You know what that's all about? That's going to be on the 17th here. That's for teens. So many things. I saw a thing the other day about the expressions, the colloquialisms that the teens use now, and I no idea what they mean. All the hidden words that only they know. And explore the Library of Congress digital collection. Again, that sounds a little boring, but it was very interesting. That's going to be on the 22nd here at the library for adults at 4 p.m. So good for the DeKalb Library, honoring our 250th anniversary. And of course, we've been talking about what's going on over at the Egyptian Theater. And that is the Liverpool Legends on April 10th And A Brothers, the Allman Brothers Tribute Band, will be on May 9th. Now, Michael W. Smith, I know you're not a religious music guy, but he's about as popular religious music guy as there is, right? Michael Smith.
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
So he's
Well, I read
a
up there with Amy
signature-
Grant.
A signature name. Yep.
Yeah. And that's a quick look at the community calendar brought to you by Stagecoach Players Theory. Go to stagecoachplayers.com. Call 758-1940. Now, sports, again, our last day being brought to you by our friends at Ferranda's Fish Fry and Community Fundraiser. This Friday will be the last night there for the fish fry. It goes from 4 to 8. And again, remember, all sales donated back to local nonprofits. In 2025, the fish fry raised over $4,500 for nonprofits, including Safe Passage and Elder Care Services. So go check that out. Ferranda's, a fish fry, 4 to 8 this Friday night there at the Lincoln Inn at Ferranda's. So we thank them and the McMahon and the gangs over there. Now, we don't often cover track and field. DeKalb senior Braylon Anderson won the 200-meter dash in the Class 3A on Saturday, finishing 21.17 seconds, the second fastest time in Illinois indoor history.
200 meter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a half lap around the track.
Yeah. Or two.
One lap would be 400 around a track.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so he was cooked.
So I was watching a thing on this guy who had the record for the longest jump, 27 feet, I think it was. But the guys, when they recorded the record, they didn't record the wind conditions. So they nullified the record because they didn't record. Now, do you know they do that at outdoor track meets? They factor in the wind, and
Okay.
there's other stuff too. But that was so he lost the record because the people that were recording this didn't record the wind conditions at the time. So it's a big controversy. I had to look this up. I just saw a little blurb on it, but
Okay.
I guess he fought for
Gale
years.
at your back gives you a distinct
Yeah,
advantage.
but how much when you jump? I mean, how much would that? And how do they gauge how much that would help? I wonder.
True.
You know?
I wouldn't know, but
No.
maybe someone with a postgraduate degree would know.
But congratulations to Braylon Anderson with the second fastest time there in the 200-meter dash. Sophomore Drake Gay took sixth in the long jump with the leap of us being a long jump with the 6.65 meters. Now, how long is that? How many feet is that, Dan? That was never good.
Well, a meter is
is what?
almost a yard. It's around a yard.
All right. So 6.65 meters would be about 18 feet. That ain't bad. That's a pretty good little jump there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Did you take metrics?
I did not. We were talking about the Montreal Expos the other day with their field. Remember, they had the metrics of the field. But it wasn't 400 feet to center field. It was something meters out the center field. Sycamore Junior Will Rosenau was second with the toss of in the shot put with a 17.1 meters. Everything's in meters. And the shot put in the Class 2A. Now, you did a shot put. You ever do it even in gym class or anything?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, and you don't throw it like a baseball.
I was going to say,
you'll hurt yourself.
Yeah, there's a real form to that.
Right.
Okay. That's
And
cool.
I shouldn't have been playing with one.
And freshman Chloe Shear was third in the 400 with a time of 59.77. Anna Anderson, Layla Janish, Shear, and Kula, all freshmen, except for the senior Janish, took seventh in the 4x800 with a time of 10:12 there. So that's our little update on what's going on in terms of track and field. Baseball, Hunter Chris for the DeKalb Barbs allowed 2 hits and no walks while striking out 4 in 5.5 innings as they tied DeKalb and Glenbard North 0-0. DeKalb now 4-0-1, had 2 hits in the game. Caden Smith pitched to one quarter scoreless relief innings. And DeKalb beat Genoa Kingston 11-5. Brandon Martin homered and drove in 2 runs. And of course, Cole Latimer, our boy, you got to catch him on one of our podcasts. Cole was 3 for 5 with 2 runs, 2 RBIs, passing 100 runs scored for his career. So again, Cole Latimer, again, in the fall, he will begin with the NIU football team. And then, of course, he'll be on the NIU baseball team as well. And I always joke about, and oh, by the way, he's got to get an education in between there as well. So God bless him. He said Cole was committed to NIU for baseball and football. He has 9 home runs last year with a .433 batting average, reaching base at a .563 clip. Stole 6 bases, scored 39 times, and drove in 28 runs. Barb's looking for their 3rd straight 20-win season, but their first regional title since 2017. So we'll see if they get that done there. Congratulations to them. And what's this other one name? Oh, DeKalb again with their back-to-back 20 seasons. And that's a look at sports. Brought to you by your friends at the Ferranda's Fish Fry. Don't miss it Friday night from 4 to 8 o'clock. Get over there and enjoy some fish Obit, again, this is a name you might recognize. Petros. Do you know the Petros name?
I don't think
Twin
so.
Tavern. Do you know Twin Tavern? I was just talking to Josh
Yeah.
Swallow. I used to work with him. We used to work at the radio station back in the day. And Josh, that would be his grandparents. Well, Thelma Lee Petros, unfortunately, has passed away. She was preceded to death by her husband, Pete, and son, Paul, and granddaughter, Christina. Thelma and Pete were married for 62 years, working together for decades at Twin Tavern, their bar and restaurant. She was one of the founders of St. George Greek Orthodox Church in DeKalb, where she was a Sunday school teacher and a former president of the Greek Orthodox Ladies Philopopis. I remember Bessie Canopoulos would always come in and talk about the Philopopis. It's the charity event for the Greek church. She's also known for Greek cookies, treats, which sold out at every bake sale, too. So God bless Thelma Petros. And again, I was talking to Josh about somebody opening why somebody hasn't opened up that restaurant, the Twin Tavern. It's all set to go. I mean,
Yeah.
you had all your kitchen equipment, everything ready there.
I was by a 6-pack at the
Yeah,
adjacent
the liquor store's still open, right?
liquor store, and I was. One gentleman told me there that they couldn't find employees. They
Oh,
couldn't find enough reliable employees.
I could see that.
But that place had a great reputation.
Oh, yeah. Always good. The food was always great. It was wonderful there. We used to do we did a couple shows there back in the day. Our fishing show we did back there. Anna Marie Carroll of DeKalb was a fountain of information, voracious reader, and loved documentaries, and was passionate about cookbooks and gardens. She drove a low-grade truck to town with her dad when she was a kid. She was considered, which back then was considered for the boys. She won a 4-H award for her cherry pie and earned the nickname Annie Oakley for her target shooting skills. As a teen, she worked at Sycamore State Theater and later provided daycare for dozens of children. And in 1960, she became the youngest operator hired at the phone company. And in 1970, she worked at General Electric Factory, taking on higher-paid, quote, man's jobs to help put food on the table for her family. She went back to school in her 40s to obtain her LPN degree. Her love and care for was always through food. She was an excellent cook, and for many decades, wouldn't even blink at putting on a spread for 50 to 100 people. So people that do this, Dan, that reinvent themselves as they go along, it's just amazing to me that she was able to do that. And then in her 40s, decides she wants to become a nurse and becomes a nurse in her 40s.
That is a contribution right there.
That really is. And Dave Johnson, not the former manager for the New York Mets, Dave Lauren Johnson, age 78, raised in Leland, Illinois. Dave dedicated 28 years to the DeKalb Fire Department, where he also served as a paramedic for many of those years. He was rolled back to the food again as the station's chef, preparing hearty meals for his colleagues, enjoying the firehouse kitchen. Many of his lifelong friendships were formed during his service years. David operated a small horse stable at the edge of DeKalb, offering boarding and riding lessons. The barn and home were also open, creating a welcoming space for children and boarders to share for their love of horses, a passion he proudly passed down to his daughter and granddaughters. Now, have you taken the kids horseback riding? That's quite the endeavor to do that.
Just one child, my oldest.
Okay. Did he like it?
Yes. Yeah, he loved it. That's just not something I've been able to accomplish.
No. Like I said, that's a lofty goal to do that. Better to do it one at a time, maybe. That's a good way you're doing it there. Dave found joy in his time spent with his horses, working on the farm, playing golf, and his annual Canadian fishing trip with his buddies over many years. A devoted and proud grandfather, was fond of his greatest joy in time was spending time with his grandchildren. So there you have it again. It's just some wonderful people there. Oh, and I had one more, too. That's Jack Cambry. Grew up at Sycamore, attended North School. The Sycamore Middle School, was a proud 2020 graduate of Sycamore High School. He was a multi-sport athlete, running cross-country, track, and wrestling. Jack was a competitor and always played to win. He loved animals, showed the sheep and goats at the FFA and his 4-H clubs. Enjoyed trips to Wyoming. He fell in love with the mountains. Now, he went 1 year to Montana State, leaving behind a group of lifelong friends. After 1 year, he decided college wasn't for him, but Montana was. He started working at the elevator concrete and loved the hard work and camaraderie, creating a special bond with his boss and his wife, Rachel, also enjoying work at the Earthworks, Inc., where he operated heavy equipment. In Montana, he found an incredible group of friends that he loved dearly. Over the years, they had many great adventures. Check this out, Dan. Skiing, camping, boating, hunting, rafting, fishing, floating, and exploring. Jack had an excellent work ethic, and he wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty and work hard. So I lost him at the age of 22, but look at all he did. He was all that stuff I just mentioned. But he goes to school out there in Montana, falls in love with Montana, and then buys a house out there in Montana, all at the age of 22.
Big sky country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long winters.
Yeah.
In Montana. But
Where the men are men and sheep are nervous. It was the old, we used to say that when we were younger. But
breathtaking states.
yeah, I remember a guy who went to college there, and he showed some pictures of it. Just absolutely beautiful, but brutal in the winter. Like you said, a little rough to get through that. And finally, the birthday anniversary list, again, brought to you by your friends at the DeKalb County History Center. Go to DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org. You can always call over there. I know you can't get it on the phone over there, but again, great stuff that they do over there at the DeKalb County History Center. Now, ironically, last week, Dan, we had Scott Montalban here, and Scott is directing the latest play over there at the Stagecoach Players Theater. But I forgot to do this date in history, and it involved the origin of this Stagecoach Players Theater, if I can find that here, because I thought that was so ironic that I found that one. But it had to do just after Township. Trying to find this on my phone.
Stagecoach Players. I remember when they were over on Barbara Green.
Yeah, and then originally, I guess they actually had the Stagecoach. They actually had a.
Okay, yeah. When I was young, it was a shed.
Oh, it was okay.
It was a. But now they're over by Gordon's.
Here, I found it. Here we go. On a cold March night in 1947, a melodrama, Pure as the Driven Snow, by Paul Loomis, was presented by the DeKalb Masonic Temple. At the DeKalb Masonic Temple, this production was performed March 26th and 27th, 1947, and sparked the idea of forming Stagecoach Players. The cast and production of the staff, under the direction of Ann Smith Gray, became enthusiastic about the idea of a community theater and later made up to form a group. I can sing a little and he can dance, and we can use my dance garage. But they did it. How about that? And look, it's still going strong now.
Wow.
It's great. In my retirement, I still think I might try to get into play there. And in 1976, on March 24th, darkness came early on the west side of DeKalb. The eerie effect was caused by the Nevada windstorms that later produced gusty winds here that whipped dust into the air. Visibility and driving conditions were severely limited by the dust storms. Well, we experienced that already. Remember when all that dust was in the air?
Yeah,
my car was filthy.
we don't get them a lot, but yeah, we've had dust storms here.
Yeah.
Now with all this rain, no dust for a while.
No dust for you. All right, so let's do. Do you have let's do a trivia question. And again, the winners will get 2 tickets to go see the latest production, the play that went wrong at the Stagecoach Player. That'll be on May 9th, April 9th, rather. And then plus 2 gift certificates to Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more when you play the podcast quiz thing.
All right.
So to come up with a name for that.
Officials from Squaw Grove
Oh, we got Squaw Grove.
Township within DeKalb County, they're proposing that the village of Hinkley take ownership of this building. What is the name of that building?
All right, if you can tell me the name of that building, at TD Ryan 2001 at yahoo.com. Again, TD Ryan 2001 at yahoo.com. If you won before, we have some great listeners that have, there's been about 3 or 4 people always calling in. So again, if you have won before, please let somebody else win. But again, TD Ryan 2001, if you can tell us what is the name of the building.
Yeah. Squaw Grove Township proposing the village of Hinkley take ownership of this particular building.
All right, very good. And Dan, of course, we always give you the last word, my friend. What are your thoughts here? We got the Illini in the Final Four coming up this weekend.
Yeah, that's thrilling.
It is.
And, of course, remember the Flying Illini. That was a disappointment. And then in 2005, with Luther Head and D. Brown, that was great. They lost to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be fun to see Lou Henson's team? Check that. I don't even know who the coach is.
Do you have I don't either. I picked him to win. I don't even could name one guy on the team. Do you have a photographic? What's it? What do they call it? Photogenic? Photo?
No.
You seem to remember a lot of obscure, specific things. It's amazing.
Well, I was a big sports fan.
It usually pertains to sports. It does. Okay.
Yeah, Nick Anderson was my favorite player on the '89 team.
Okay.
And Kenny Battle, who played at NIU.
Yeah.
For 2 years. Also, happy Easter, everybody, and TD, thanks for doing this podcast.
Well, thanks for being part of it, man. Again, it's been great again to team up with you again and be able to do this. So we are truly blessed. And again, what do they say? When God shuts the door, he opens the window, or shuts the window and opens the door. But It's been great that we were able to do this. And we want to thank our friends here at the DeKalb Library, too, for helping us get this on the air. And, of course, huge thanks to Michael Davis, my nephew, for help break. And then that's News Podcast, TD Ryan Unleashed, number 42 in the books.